We're going live all over the place. Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Postcards from the Postcard Studio. I'm your host, Jenny Van West, and it's always 70 and sunny here in the Postcard Studio, and it's a gorgeous, cold, late winter day out there. Low clouds flying along fast, and blue sky peeking between. So let's sing the postcard song, shall we? When you're down and you're blue and you don't know what to do, just write a postcard. When you're feeling fine and there's something on your mind, just write a postcard. Don't you know Grandma loves this show? She listens every time. You don't need a reason, you don't need a rhyme to write a postcard. To P.O. Box 1252, just write a postcard. 04098, just write a postcard. To Westbrook, Maine, 'cause Grandma loves this show. Well, welcome to Postcards, everybody. I'm your host, Jenny Van West, coming to you live from the Postcard Studio, where it's always 70 and sunny. Today's no different. It's a good day here in the Postcard Studio, March the 3rd. And we have a very special show for you today. We have Wood Willow duo, Joel and Becca, joining us from Oklahoma City. And I'm going to be bringing them in just a minute. They are fantastic. They've got a new record coming out at the beginning of April. And I'm so excited that they're going to be with us today. We were doing a sound check earlier, and it's sounding fantastic. So I want to give you a couple heads up. If you're just joining us for the first time, welcome to Postcards. You can write to us, P.O. Box 1252, Westbrook, Maine, 04098. And I will write you back, and we'll read it on the show on Monday, and we'll put it on the Wall of Love, and you'll be celebrated, and you'll get to go on the new male clothesline with the Ruth Bader Ginsburg finger puppet and the Lost Mitten. So, so let's see, what's news today? Well, mostly it's just awesome music happening here on Postcards. So I think without any further ado, I'm going to bring in our guests. Let me see if I can find them. They're around here somewhere. Where did I put them? Oh, there you are. Well, good morning.
Good morning.
How's it going?
We're great. How are you?
Good. How's life in Oklahoma City these days?
The weather just broke, so we have beautiful, like mid-70s days. So it's just
Awesome. Yeah.
Oh man, you're getting into it. That's great. Are the flowers?
Yeah.
You have flowers and stuff already?
Not yet.
No, that kind of comes around Easter time.
Yeah,
but
I haven't taken my plants out of the house yet, so.
Okay. So we're getting there. We're getting there.
not yet.
I know that's a big moment when you put the plants outside, and then it's like, okay, all right. So, well, Joel and Beck, I'm so excited that you're here today, and I've been hearing about you and listening to your new single that's out, and so excited for your new album. And I'd love to talk with you a bit about how you got started and all that. But I was thinking maybe first we should do a song and just get people a taste of what you've been up to.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's play a song off of our first. We did a little 2-song EP when we first started, and it's called "All That I Need." This song. So
All right, let's hear it.
we'll do a little bit off the new record too. But
Yeah.
Okay, terrific. Let's hear it. Start wherever you want.
Dripping from the bottle, I'm full throttle. You only know me as nothing but trouble. If truth was a mirror, I'd see much clearer. And in the reflection, there's nothing but fear. You've got all that I need. You've got all that I need. Calendar curated, time stamped and dated. Gone are the days reserved. Now just fitted. I hear your laughter bounce from the rafters. Could you forgive and give what we are after? 'Cause you've got all that I need. 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 Love loves trouble, and ain't that the truth? Yeah, I can't help but revel in the news. Love loves trouble, and ain't that the truth? Yeah, I can't help but revel in the news. Love loves trouble, and ain't that the truth? Yeah, I can't help but revel in the news. Love loves trouble, and ain't that the truth? Yeah, I can't help but revel in the news. You've got all that I need. 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 All that I need. All that I need.
Oh yeah, that was awesome, guys. Oh,
Thank
so
you.
exciting! I've been really looking forward to this show. It's one of the things that Joel and I were talking about earlier before you came into the show just now, Becca, is talking about how people have been starved for harmonies. Feeling other people singing harmonies with one another. But clearly, you all have been together during this time and had each other. And so I'm curious about, what the last couple of years has been like for you, how you got started. That's kind of two giant questions, but I'm curious.
You want me to do how we got started?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've been playing together for, I guess, a few months, but it's kind of interesting because both my dad and her grandpa played music together for like 40 years. And somehow we didn't really know each other for the most of our lives.
Yeah.
And then about 4 years ago, we met and started playing together and picking. And then we kind of just stumbled into this band in a funny way. I had a dream of a girl, and she was in a busy street, but she had a T-shirt on, and it said "Wood" on the front and "Willow" on the back. And it was just this weird T-shirt. It's like the front was blue with white letters, the back was white with blue letters. Anyways, it's dream logic. And I woke up and I called Becky. I was like, "Hey, do you want to start a band called Wood Willow?" She's like, "Yeah."
Why not?
And then like literally days later, or like the next day, someone calls like, "Hey, you want to play this show?" It was on April Fool's Day. So we're like, "Yeah, this is a joke anyway. We'll just start playing." And then we booked the show, and then we were supposed to play an hour and a half. We ended up playing like 3 hours.
Yeah.
And then
no one stopped us.
Nobody stopped you. I love it.
the bar was having fun. We were having fun, so we just kept playing.
Yeah.
And then
Kind of just didn't quit.
I didn't quit. And then we started writing our own original music from there, and just and then once the pandemic happened, our world, because we just really kind of started building steam in our minds, and then we're like, oh shoot, like everything's shutting down. And then it just kept getting shut down, and we understood why. We were just kind of like bummer, like the rest of the world. And so I guess you can take over, like how we used our time. And
so with that time that we all of a sudden had, we recorded a record with Wes Sharon down at 115 Recording in Norman, Oklahoma. We had enough songs by then that we were like, man, we need to do something with these. And we got 20 original songs together. Some of them were songs that Joel had written before he knew me, but some of them were ones that we'd written together. And yeah, Wes was super helpful and just awesome to work with. And so, yeah, it took, I don't know how long it took us to record it.
About 3 or 4 months.
3 or 4 months, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how we used our time. We just wrote enough originals to make an album.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, it's like, that's, I'm so glad that, I'm sorry for the cutoff, but you weren't alone. That's what's been comforting to so many of us. We weren't alone. I mean, it was like it happened to everyone to some degree. And I'm so glad that you were able to make use of the time and find ways to creatively, can forge ahead. So I have a curiosity about this. So you said you have like grandfathers, is that right? Uncles, grandfathers that played together? Yeah.
My grandpa and his dad.
Okay.
And, they have been, well, my grandpa passed away recently, but they've been playing together for almost 40 years. I think it was like 39 to be exact, but yeah, friends for so long. And yeah, Joel and I hadn't met up until 4 years ago.
Right.
So,
And what kind of music were they playing together?
Bluegrass music.
Bluegrass music. Okay, very interesting. So are any of them fiddlers or like mandolin players or, all of the above, or what's the instrumentation? I'm just curious about your musical DNA. I'm always curious about that stuff.
Yeah, totally. So my grandpa was one of those that played anything. Mandolin was his primary instrument, but he played fiddle, guitar, a little bit of bass when he was younger, just kind of anything. Oh, and he was an excellent harmonica player. He calls it the harp.
Nice. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, he played anything, and he's why I started playing mandolin to begin with. He was such an inspiration. He was playing all the way up until he was 94. So
that's great.
It's great.
Well, and it's it's such a great, it can't stop us from getting older, but it can stop us from getting older. Know what I mean? Well, that's really cool. That's really cool. And that you somehow found each other, and there was this like earlier generations of collaboration quite deeply in your, in the soup of your environment. And so, so now so this new album that's coming out the 1st of April, you've got a album release show in Oklahoma City. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know we were talking earlier before you came in, Becca, about touring. It's like as it is for so many people right now. It's like, well, are we? Aren't we? What's happening? And then suddenly it's time to plan ahead 3 months ago, and it's like, well, what just happened?
Yeah.
But you got this new album that's coming out, and that's so exciting. And this is your first album together.
Yes.
And you wrote a lot of it during the pandemic, as you just shared. And I'm curious about, how that feels, because people having a first album come out should always be lifted up and celebrated to a great degree, but especially right now. So tell me like what's been the sort of like general feeling about doing that?
Oh, I mean, it's just been... It's just been a whirlwind, because we've obviously loved the process of recording and the creative process and kind of discovering what is the sound of Wood Willow, because I come from a background of bluegrass, but really the songs that I wrote for a lot of my life was on electric guitar and more indie, much more adventurous. So this was kind of a fun songwriting practice of like, okay, this is the instrumentation, this is the overall sound, kind of like putting your parameters that make you more creative. And so it's been really fun to get it out. But then once it was done, we finished it January of 21.
Yeah.
So it's been done for over a year, and we're just but we didn't really want to just put it out and then not be able to have a release show or support it in other ways, because we made the mistake of buying like $2,000 worth of merch right before the pandemic, and then we just sat in our house for 2 years. And we're like, all right,
walking around in your Wood Willow shirts.
We have a different one for every day of the year.
So we've been trying to like wait, and then all of a sudden it's like, it seemed like it was so far away, and now it's like, oh shoot, it's next month, and we got to do, it's like go time come December. We're like, oh, we got to shoot 3 music videos and do all this stuff, and
it's a lot of excitement, a little bit of panic. Like, we thought we were so prepared, and now it's like, man, we have all these things to do before this happens. which we're getting them done, but
Yeah.
like it's almost like, ooh, we gotta get going.
Because we are very DIY. Like we touch every element of this process, which is great. But it's like, yeah, it's a lot, which I'm sure you know very well.
Oh, yes, I do. I do know this. And I just want to say to everybody, if you're just joining us, this is Postcards. We're talking with Wood Willow, coming to us live from Oklahoma City. We're super excited that you're here, guys. And I want to say a quick hello to a couple people. Emily Hansen's listening in. Diana Griffin-Ennis from the Heartland Song Network. So hello to you. And Kat, my neighbor, Kathy Marshall. And so Diana's question is, so what's in the water in Oklahoma that creates such great artists? Parker Millsap says it's chromium. Is that it?
Chromium. I don't know, but I've been wondering the same thing because, we have people like Parker Millsap, John Fulbright, Turnpike Troubadours, just to name more modern ones, and then Flaming Lips from Out of Left Field. It's not just acoustic Americana, folk, country artists. It's all over. And it's really kind of neat seeing this. As far as what's in the water, I'd probably ask just what's in the whiskey. I think that's probably...
Got that, Diana? What's in the whiskey is the proper question. Okay, all right. Well, and I just want to say before you, I'm going to say get another song queued up there because I want to do that in just a second. But I wanted to say that there's so never having been to Oklahoma, and as I said earlier, it's on my short list of places I really want to come because I'm a Woody Guthrie fan, and I really want to visit Oklahoma. I've never been. And I want to go to Tulsa. I want to go to Oklahoma City. And the thing is, I also come from a traditional music background. So I grew up listening to bluegrass. I grew up listening to gospel bluegrass. I grew up with that all around me down in Washington, D.C. And a lot of the bands that I've listened to over time started out in these rich, thick, laden, vibrant, traditional music places. I've spent a lot of time playing traditional French Canadian music, and so I think that is sort of underrepresented as a place to come from. So I would just suggest that maybe it's the whiskey that goes along with the music. Or the music that goes with the whiskey.
You gotta send it in on a weekday or else. No, I'm joking.
Oh my God. Well, listen, do you have another song for us? I'd love to hear another one if you're down. All right, let's do this. What you got?
So, you mentioned about the single that's out. We actually don't have a single out yet. It's going to come out March 11th. So
this is a single from the new record.
Yeah.
I was looking at your website. Okay, gotcha.
Oh yeah, we have two.
March 11th. Great.
Yeah.
Technically two singles out. Yeah, I guess from over a year ago. But this is from the new record. It's called So Much Running. Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Tall building right next to heaven. Fill your glass until it's full, till it's overflowing. The drink got drunk as the drinker got drunk, and the thinker never got a word. So much running just to try and get ahead. When you die, they find replacements. All the grass grows back again. So much running. Go ahead, try to sleep. Lay awake to face reality. It brings you right back to tall, grew up just to win. You're only out to help yourself and fighting to no end. So you went out to quench that thirst, walked right into town. The good people, they led you to water, but they didn't think you would drown. When you die, they find replacements for the grass grows back. So much running. Go ahead, try to see. Lay away to face reality. It brings you right back to your knees.
I think you're muted.
I'm muted because the echo cancellation was still off. Anyway, you guys sound great, and I just I love hearing those harmonies, and it's like I know just from a little bit that you've told me, and the fact that you live together, and you do you just like walk around singing all the time? Is that how that goes, or do you have specific times when you sit down and practice, or do you have to tell each other once in a while, like, stop harmonizing with me while I'm practicing this? Or, how does that work for you?
Oh, it kind of just depends. I guess,
I sing in our conversations most of the time.
yeah. We'll just be talking about, like, where we're going next, and like, yeah, we're going to go to Georgia, and you start singing, like,
Any excuse.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
just like,
Yeah. No, we break out in the song, quite a bit just for fun.
I think the new thing is we got a little tiny guitar that I can play while I'm in the passenger seat. And then, so when we're driving on road trips and stuff like that, we can play and write songs. And,
Yeah.
and so that's super fun. And then sometimes I'll be in the driver's seat with a mandolin, which don't tell the highway patrol. But
He doesn't do that.
not
Dangerous.
very much.
I got a good story about a Quebecois friend, teacher of mine, who came across the border with he was playing rhythm bones and driving with his knees, and he was coming into the United States to come teach a camp down here in Maine, and they had some interest. It was an interesting conversation. I was like, that proceeded from there, but. But anyway, I digress. If you're just joining us, this is Postcards. Welcome to Postcards. We're talking with Wood Willow, Joel and Becca, coming to us live from Oklahoma City. We're so excited that you're here. And we're talking about your new record, talking about this and that and whatnot. And so I guess, another question that I have about writing. So you were saying, during the pandemic, you wrote this album. I'm curious about, did you find that you had a process emerge where it was like somebody would start something and then somebody else jumps in, or was it kind of all over the place? Like how did those songs creatively, how did they come forward? Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of the songs that you're going to hear on the album, ones that Joel hadn't already finished, he had ideas for them already. And brought them to me, and we kind of just expanded from there. Joel's definitely more of the idea person, and I kind of come in, I think my strong suit is like form and the editing process and kind of making lyrics make sense, stuff like that. But
yeah.
Yeah, like, is this song in first person or second person? Because you keep mixing it up. I'm like, oh yeah, thank you.
Yeah, right. So like it sounds like the raw stuff is coming. A lot of times would be coming from Joel's side, and then you're coming in with the developmental edits. Like, yeah, who's on first? Yeah, and no, that's cool. So it sounds like you had, and then that just continued. Now, one thing I'm not clear on, were you, I think one of you said you were writing before you ever before you ever met. Is that right? Was Joel, you were writing? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I've been writing songs since I was like 12, and a lot of them never made it on a record for different reasons. So, when we basically threw 20 songs at the wall, and then we whittled it down to 10. I didn't really care if I wrote it before meeting Becca or not, or if we wrote it together. We didn't really care. We were just like, what's the best song that we want to play? And that was really our criteria. We try to, like, no ego, just be like, and then, and so that's what we ended up with the 10 songs that are on this record. I think moving forward, we really want to start creating more like overarching themes and overarching sounds for the entire record as we develop as songwriters together. And also, like, our bass player, Lucas, he has a lot of input He's not here today, but he has a lot of input on how the songs go and where they should go. He's a great songwriter himself. So I think there's definitely more to uncover as we start writing together.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Well, I'm wondering, it's coming on 11:30. What do you think about, I mean, I've just been like pulling songs out of you for a half an hour, but I want to hear another one. What do you think? You got another one lined up?
That's totally cool. You want to do Southern Intentions? So this is the title track of our new record. So we'll give you a little sneak here.
Ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. Sitting wishing we were kissing each other. You always liked it when I called you Southern. Soft drawl at the ballroom dance. Nothing wrong with a little romance.
Gonna be my lady, and don't be just feeding me maybes. You're the girl with long black hair. What you doing way over there?
Don't you know our love's been running, but still I know what's good. Holding out your hand, you say love's blind, but you know what's coming. Tongue whips like the kick of a shotgun, spitting words like a fire-breathing dragon. What happened to the days of the past? I guess all good things never do last.
Pick apart every line that I told you, and pick a heart for the demolition crew too. Go and do what they do best. Leave me there dying with all the rest.
Don't you know our love's been running, but still I know what's good. Holding out your hand, you say love's blind, but you know what's coming. Here you come with arms wide open. You always knew how to mend what's broken.
Take back every lie that you told. Said I ain't buying, but it's already sold.
Don't you know our love's been running, but still I know what's good. Holding out your hand, pull me in just like quicksand. And the more I try to fight it, the more that I sink in. Holding out your hand, you say love's blind, but you know what's coming.
Oh yeah, Wood Willow here on Postcards. Beautiful. 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 So this is interesting because, like I was saying before, musical DNA is one of my things that I always like to it's especially these days where we can bring music into our worlds from anywhere, anytime, anyhow, professionals, amateurs, everybody. So I'm curious what your perspective is. I know you've got a lot of family roots with music. Both come from musical families played together. What would you say are some other major influences for you?
Well,
So many,
Yeah.
narrow down.
I mean, early influences, I was a pretty weird kid. I really liked like old school punk, whether it be like Ramones or The Clash, and then eventually like Fugazi. And then I also liked funk a lot, like Sly and the Family Stone, Parliament Funkadelic, Tower of Power were awesome. And then hip hop. Like I love Wu-Tang. And then eventually, like nowadays, it's like Aesop Rock or Run the Jewels. I mean, it's all over the place. But then of course I love bluegrass and folk and Willie Watson and
Doc Watson.
Yeah. All the Watsons.
All the Watsons.
All the Watsons. There's another band name for you.
Yeah.
All the Watsons. Yeah, that's really interesting, and I think one of the things that speaks to me about is the, having a deep background in my traditional forms of music as well. Excuse me, as well as with bluegrass, is that the back and forth conversation that goes on between these forms of music, either through people like yourself listening, or through the actual confluence of forms, and styles that comes in. I think it's just really, it really speaks to the magnetism of the traditional, like acoustic music, and coming back into that. I don't know what exactly I'm trying to say here. It's just powerful stuff. It's powerful stuff. So we have a couple comments here I wanted to share with you. One is Emily just said, I'm impressed you all went to the studio with 20 songs and chose the best 10. That's how you create an awesome album. Yeah.
Thanks, Emily.
Yeah, and we've got a listener out in Claremont, California, Diggy Cat, saying, walking to a park with the guitar on my back, listening to the show. That's
Nice.
awesome. Yeah. And Emily was also saying, makes me think of Ralph Stanley. All right.
Yeah, that song, I feel like definitely pulled some old school riffs out of it.
Yeah.
You've definitely, and also I was just going to say, with the way you form your harmonies, it's got that chill on the back of the neck kind of quality. Just so you know, that's the stuff that sells expensive tickets and big concert halls. So keep at that.
Yeah.
But it's that's something that I associate with bluegrass. Is that particular feeling of deep, clear emotion being channeled into voices. And so anyway, just wanted to share that with you. And if you're just joining us, this is Postcards, and we're here with the very wonderful Wood Willow. Joel and Becca coming to us live from Oklahoma City. We're so psyched you're here. So tell me, so here we are theoretically coming out of a pandemic, right? And by the way, I did hear that you're getting married in the fall. Congratulations. That's really wonderful. It was shared with me, so I'm sharing it on the show. I hope your families know.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
And I hope the other person knows. I hope that's all settled.
Right.
But
Right.
Yeah. So, and how would you let me ask you this, how would you like to see the next year of your musical life go? If you could have your way, what would you like to see happen?
I think for us,
just something funny. When we first, I think it was when we got done with the album, I'm a big believer in like speaking things that you want to happen into existence. I think positive words are really powerful. And the first thing I did whenever we got done was I wrote on a piece of paper that our first album will win a Grammy.
Nice.
I was like, why not just put it up there? And so it's been on our fridge ever since
I think we also have our second record will win a Grammy. We didn't put all our eggs in one basket. But
anyway.
That's awesome. There you go.
Realistically, though.
Well,
Let's do it. So I guess I was just going to say, from a more day-to-day perspective, I think we both like to be able to essentially be more in the creative element. So whether it be writing songs in the studio, we're also both makers. Like I work with leather. I made a strap. Becca makes rings. And necklaces, and so I think we'd like to pivot towards more just every creative outlet and making it where we're as independent as possible, so we can be on the road for however long we want, and then come back. And so that would be that's like our short to midterm goal, because we just love playing music, and it's a journey. It's not like I don't believe in making it. There's no such thing as making it. It's like, what is that? It's always, even the best musicians at the top of their game, they're like, there's no making it. Like, you're always trying to go somewhere else. So I think that's where I'm trying to think about what of my day to day, what would that look like? And so being able to just create and and have that ability and that flexibility to be traveling and performing. That's really where I want to see us in the next 1 to 2 years.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Well, and I just want to acknowledge that I just asked you a question that I'm not even sure I could personally answer for myself, because it's, but it's a good one and it's on my mind now, and I'm gonna sit down and do some writing about that. And I also acknowledging, like, here we are, like, we're not really going back to something. Like, people are talking about getting back to normal, and I'm like, I'm not really sure that we can go. I don't know if I even want to go back to 2020, but one of the things also on my mind is, and I'm asking a lot of people this, is like, what are some things about the last couple of years that you want to preserve, sort of in your musical life or your life together, your personal lives? What are some qualities that have emerged during this time that have actually been really positive that you'd like to continue? And maybe it's the same answer, but
I think for me, it'd be just having a chance to slow down and have like unrestricted time where you're not thinking about 17 deadlines at once. And, because that's pretty damaging to the creative process if you're not able to kind of shut all that out and then get into whatever you're trying to do.
Right.
So that was one silver lining from it. And we ended up just spending a lot of time together rather than, luckily we had each other. I know a lot of people were alone. So,
yep.
And just like, I think I have a new value for time. And we both do, like, well, how valuable is time? Like, because, you can't store it. You can't save up time. It's just, you use it or lose it. So, I think that's kind of the biggest sentiment we got from this last 2 years.
Yeah, relationship with time. I'm feeling you. Similar for me. So if you're just joining us, welcome to Postcards. We are talking with the very wonderful Wood Willow, coming to us live from Oklahoma City. Joel and Becca, we're so psyched you're here. It might be time for another song. If you have another one, I think you might, because you have a record coming out on April 1st that I've been hearing about.
We do.
We do every day.
Yeah. We played you 2 on the record, so we're going to do one that's not on the record.
Yeah, this is okay. Good, because this is somewhere I wanted to go with you. So let's hear one that's not on the record.
Every day. So this is actually a little backstory. I wrote this song before meeting Becca, but then as soon as I heard her sing it, I'm like, okay, this is your song now. You can sing it because you do a way better job. It's called Every Day. It's actually out on Spotify.
And I hold on to truth like a tree to the roots. Yeah, I hold on to you like a cure for the blues. Running through the forest, dripping from the wind and rain. Again, singing like a siren, waiting for a brand new day. Hold your head high, hold your head high. Yeah, you hold your head high, go ahead and hold on to truth like a tree to the roots. Yeah, hold on to you like a cure for the blues. All that I do is love like it's new every day. Is a song to be played. La da da, 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 la da da. Searching for something that ain't nothing but what you made of it. Won't you stop looking, start seeing all that we have? Can you hold your head high, hold your head high? Yeah, you hold your head high, go ahead and hold on to truth like a tree to the roots. Yeah, hold on to you like a cure for the blues. All that I do is love like it's new every day. Is a song to be played.
song to be played. Yes, every day is a song to be played.
Oh yeah, Wood Willow here on Postcards. Beautiful, beautiful. I was listening to that song yesterday, and it goes right in and stays. So so this is a song that is not on your new record, but you do have it recorded. Is that because I think I heard that song yesterday.
Yeah.
Is that from your earlier EP? I apologize for not knowing that, because I'm not Terry Gross.
So it's kind of funny. We, like we were saying, we started with 20. We whittled it down to 10, but those two stuck out. We're like, man, we really like them. And we kind of foresaw us like, okay, pandemic's happening. We need some music out. We really like the music. We don't really hear them being full band, because we wanted this record to be full band, almost every song. And so we're like, well, let's just put them out as like,
Stripped down.
Like, what is Wood Willow at its core? And those two songs kind of did that. And then when the album came out, it's like, okay, here's us exploring our sound. So
Yeah.
so it was actually part of that original recording sessions with Wes. It was just two that didn't make the record sonically. So we were just like, but we still really loved them. So we put them out.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, that's cool. So, I'm assuming that when you're out doing shows and stuff, that some of these songs are also going to be a part of your musical fabric as because my head's going in 12 directions right now. That's what happens. Usually 20 minutes into the show. I made it 45 minutes, but, I love what you've said a couple times about exploring your sound and figuring out who you are. And I think and finding where the sweet spot is, where like everybody's kind of happy, and that can shift and change over time. But what I'm curious about, if you care to share about what you've learned about that thus far, and what's sort of still open for you. And if that's too personal of a musical question, I feel free to ignore it. But I'm curious.
Oh. I think this sounds like a counterintuitive thing, but I don't want to put more limitations on me, because I have the kind of mind where I'm just like all over. And so putting yourself in a box, like just saying like, okay, this whole song, I'm going to play acoustic guitar and I'm going to make that work. That was what I didn't, there's not one electric guitar on the whole record. Even those songs, I'm like, man, that'd be cool. But I've set that parameter. And then, and so, like, I think what I would like to do next would be to write a whole chunk of songs in one period. I think that's what I could see us. And we already started writing the second record. We have probably 4 or 5 new songs that will be at least contenders for the second record. Yeah. And so that's what I would like to do, is like keep that steam, keep that momentum, and then just create like a true end-to-end record sound, cohesive, that and I love the way this last record turned out. I mean like, it's so fun, and it's so like, it really shows our diversity. But I think that's where I'm we finished it a year ago, so I'm naturally going to be like, okay, what's next, even though we're still pushing out this record. So it's kind of an state to be in.
Yeah, well, that's interesting, and I really appreciate that, because I have eclectic taste in music, the short way of saying it, and my records tend to reflect that, and so maintaining that sense of being like, okay, I get to redefine myself whenever I feel like it, but still make something a viable go for publicists and booking venues and that sort of a thing. And and clearly it's like, your instruments for this duo are acoustic, and that's a lot of what's going, sort of draws it in. But I do hear a lot of that's why I asked about influences. I'm just saying, and I appreciate that you're, at once respecting these, traditional forms, and these forms that were in the water growing up, or in the bourbon, or whatever we were talking about, and And at the same time being like, yeah, but it's like, okay, next album, want to sort of want to look at forming a cohesive sound on that album. But that's very different from saying this is who we are, but anyway, I appreciate that. To be continued. It's we've all been through a thing. We've all been through some stuff. Things have happened, and I'm curious to see the changes and the shifts in people, and how people are moving out of this time. So anyway, that's enough about me. I know I said 3 or 4 songs, and you've already played 4, but I'm wondering if you might be willing to play one more before we close the show.
Yeah.
What do
you want to?
You should sing one. We could do.
While you're thinking about that, I'm going to do a little housekeeping here. If you've been listening to our show, this is Postcards. We are here in Maine, and we're so glad that you've been joining us today. You can write to us, P.O. Box 1252, Westbrook, Maine, 04098. We will read it on the show on Mondays when we read letters from Grandma and postcards from around the place. You can also send us steals and deals from your mailbox. If you don't want them, send them to me. I'll read them on the show. And we'll have a grand old time with it. But you will go on the wall of love. You will be feted. You will have an opportunity to get a postcard back. And while you're at it, send a postcard to Grandma and ask her a question. She loves to answer questions from people. So we've been hanging out with Wood Willow today. It's been absolutely fantastic to have them here today. If you want to see more about them, just go over and check out their website. There's all the things that you could possibly want to know about them right there. And if you have a yen to get out and travel, go to Oklahoma City and catch their show on April 1st. They're going to be releasing their new album. And so let's see. There you are. So we're going to go out with one more song from you guys. Thank you so much for being on the show. I feel like it's just the hour has gone by in a flash, and I'm so thrilled to get to hear you all and talk with you all, and I wish you all the best of luck with everything this year, and I hope our paths cross. I think they're going to here and there. I forget, are you guys coming down for South by Southwest?
It's not on our calendar at the moment.
Okay. If it's not on there yet, it's probably not going to be on there.
It's such a crazy fun festival.
Next year, we're going to see you there.
Yeah, we are not going to be performing, if that's what you're asking. No, but we might just go down there for the heck of it.
Yeah.
We are going to get Folk Alliance in May. Folk Alliance.
Okay, great.
We have a couple showcases to do, and
terrific.
Gonna be rubbing elbows, so it'll be fun. We'll have the new album out.
Yeah, great. Well, I'm so glad that you got your album out. It's coming. It's going to be in our hands soon and in our ears. And so what you got to take us out with there?
This is probably one of the first songs that I learned that Joel had written.
Yeah, we wrote it together. I know you're so confused, but on the timeline of this, but I remember
one of the first ones that we wrote together. It's called No More Close to Heaven.
You need to take some credit for that because it's definitely got you on it.
Ready?
Yeah.
Call my name with loving eyes. Call it in disdain. Well, it's still good to be called after all this time away. Trace my tracks to see your face and worn out my shoes, and I'm no more close to heaven, just closer to you, and I hold on, hold on, hold on. What I do, well, I pull the rug out from the world, 'cause I never quite tied the room, and I hope
Thank you all so much for being on Postcards. That was absolutely beautiful.
Thank
Joel
you.
and Becca, Wood Willow, coming to us live from Oklahoma City. Thank you so much for making the time today
Thank
and
you.
making sure that we could get you hooked up with some decent sound and all that good stuff. I wish you guys the very best with the album release. And so there's one more tradition on Postcards. We're going to be playing in the key of A, and we would like to, what I like to ask people to do is this is a pandemic, still a pandemic, do a completely out of sync jam on this song. So you can do as you please, whatever you please. We're going to be in the key of A. When you're down and you're blue and you don't know what to do, just write a postcard. When you're feeling fine and there's something on your mind, just write a postcard. Don't you know Grandma loves this show? She listens every time. You don't need a reason. You don't need a rhyme to write a postcard to P.O. Box 1252. Just write a postcard. 04098. Just write a postcard to Westbrook, Maine. Cause Grandma loves this show. Brought to you by whatever's in the bourbon in Oklahoma City. Well, thanks everybody for listening in. It's been absolutely fun. Joel and Becca, if you hang out for just a sec, we'll say hello and goodbye after the show. And I'll just say, see you all. Next week I'm going to be getting ready for South by Southwest. I will not have a show next week. I will look forward to bringing you guys, everybody who's been listening in. We're going to be doing live from South by Southwest from the 14th through the 20th. All right, so thanks everybody for listening in.
Thank you.